Greetings, family. We're here live on Revolutionary Cam here at Bomani Technology, and I'm here with my good sister. How you doing, my sister? How you doing today?
Great. I'm Nannette Bari, and I'm here with Mr. Bomani Tayimba, just getting ready to speak on different topics. So I'm excited to be here with you.
Absolutely, good socializing with you. And last time we linked at Ross Isaac's spot, the Strong Drink
Yes.
and Vegan Juice Bar.
Yes.
That was excellent. Now we're in a very laid-back, quiet environment, so people can hear you. But what we want to get into as far as the conversation is to talk about the discount education for African people in the diaspora and on the African continent.
Yes. So I just came from the King Center recently, and I was watching the work. I was watching the progression of the work that Martin Luther King Jr. did in the civil rights movement. And one of the things he did address when we were going from Jim Crow laws into integration was the education. And in one of the documentaries that I watched, he called the education that black people received at that time discount education. And that got me to thinking, because anytime I think about Africans all over the world, even in Ghana, because I just came from Ghana, I think about the systems, the educational systems that were set up. And when you think about a system always has a product. There's always a result that's supposed to come from a system. And when we think about colonization, and in the case of Ghana, Great Britain colonized Ghana, we know that the educational system, the product, the result of the educational system in Ghana is for the benefit of who? The British. And that's not to say it's against the Ghanaians. It's to say that it's for the British. And so I always say, once we're clear about the product, the result that a system creates, then we know how to move forward and how to create results for ourselves.
Absolutely, I appreciate you sharing that extent. And yes, we do have a system that's set up to where, you get the education system from your oppressor. That's all the information that's in that education system is teaching you to be subservient to that system. And it's basically like we send our children to school and they're being trained at a young age how to function in the corporate world of America and Europe and serve their masters. And the books that we're reading are being written by their scholars to where they have modified history. I mean, we talk about people who have literally went through the test of time and changed history to the point where we're so confused about what is real and what's not. And that's what I'm always saying, to the point where if we're going to depend on the education system to teach our children and for us to progress as a people, that is never going to happen. So that's where we as parents, we as men, women, we as an African people have to take that direction. And that's what I always talk about. It's so important for us to learn advanced trade, technology, and skills and be able to modify it and teach our own. And the same thing with those of us who call ourselves PhD scholars and things like that. A lot of stuff you learn, you might have to trash it and modify it to where it fits our children, fit our future.
Yes, and Bomani, that's a great point. Because remember, education is programming. And so we have to look at how are our children being programmed. One of the simple things I used to do, I have 4 children, they're all teenagers now. When they were younger, we used to go to the library regularly, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week sometimes. And I would have them get at least 5 biographies on great Africans and great African Americans to read, because I just wanted them to reinforce the greatness that is in the people that they are. So those are just simple things we could do, because I was clear that they most likely would not get that in their schools. And so it was upon me, it was my responsibility to make sure that my kids got the education that would empower them and let them know that they have the ability and the intelligence and the background to do everything they want.
Absolutely, my sister. That is it right there. We have to train our children, our future, to be able to be successful. And one of the things I want us to go back on is like, we tell our children, go to school, get that education. They go there, they do that, and then next thing you know, we tell them to go get that job, and they go to the white person and get the job. Or in some cases that we deal with now, there's not enough positions for all of us. So we're sending our children off still to apply for jobs from white corporations that don't have enough positions for their own people, and they're supposed to sacrifice those positions for us. So the way I see this thing is, we literally got to get to the point where we have to build Africa for the Africans, to where we build those factories, those corporations, so our children will have those positions. And at the same time, too, do we really want our children to work in these corporations for 30, 40 years and give the best of their life, and then all of their would have accomplished is, some nice paychecks and little finance and things like that, but they would have literally given all of their best time to the same oppressive system that we've been fighting against forever. So it's to the point where you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And one of the things about it is what if we were able to just modify that mindset, and for our children to start learning and building these skills based on us teaching them, us as a people, in this global African world, where we can find the best black engineers, the best scientists, and so on, and teach our children the highest level of science and technology to build an African world that's going to take care of us. So that's how I look at this situation when we talk about discount education, because that's what we've been getting. So people like myself, with my discount education, I had to leave high school and just get busy with the study. Once I left high school, that's when I really started studying, because now I was in control of my education.
Yes, I was just speaking to my twin boys about that this morning. They were talking about how people like Michael Dell, Bill Gates dropped out of school, and I let them know, just because they dropped out of school doesn't mean they stopped learning.
Right.
They had to keep learning to build their companies. And so when I raised my children, as I was raising them, I always let them know that anytime they ever applied for a job, they apply with a purpose. They're not applying to stay there forever until they retire. They're applying because they want to garner certain skills, certain talents. They want to build certain talents, and they want to get certain knowledge within an industry so that they can one day use that for themselves in their own business. So I'm always encouraging my children to see the difference between working a job and working a business. Now, one thing I had to realize was, because I'm a business owner, I'm biased for business. And I had to be careful about how I spoke to my kids. So versus saying that this way is bad and this way is good, I just give them both views now, and I let them know you get to choose based on your personality, based on your risk tolerance, based on how adventurous you are to get out there, because it takes a lot of heart to become a business owner. I make sure that they know both sides. Sometimes we joke, because I'm not in traffic. I'm not in a 9-to-5 job. So sometimes I'm out at 5 p.m. and we hit traffic. And I'm wondering, why do we have all this traffic? Because I'm not used to traffic. And I joke with my kids and I say, see, we're in traffic because of the rat race. It's
Absolutely.
5 p.m. and everybody's out here. And so now they just roll their eyes anytime I say that. But I just want them to know that there is a difference between having a business of your own and working a job for a corporation. There is the 9-to-5. There is the masses rolling in at the same time, rolling out at the same time. So those are just little plugs that I present to my children when it comes to dealing with having a job versus owning your own business.
Perfect. And that's so based on what we talk about discount education, that is a valuable education right there. So it's time for us to change the narrative of what we're educating our children with, and for us to also take responsibility, because like you're building your business enterprise. You're not just telling your children to go to university and get an education. You're building that enterprise to where, once you build it to where it's expand, your children could be the one running the operations, and it becomes a generational business. Like, I don't believe that we should build business and then when you get to 50, you just dissolve the business. Even if you don't have children, we have other black brothers and sisters that we can pass along to. We have to get to that point where we're not always starting from the beginning. Are you first or second generational business entrepreneur?
I'm second generation, and actually more than that, because my family's from Ghana, so most people in Ghana are entrepreneurs.
So it's been in your lineage for generations.
For generations, yes. And one thing Bomani said that I wanted to talk about, he was talking about the discount education, and then he was also talking about how we train our children. So I just want to make sure that when we're talking about our children, that we think as a family. What I tell my children is that name one industry or one skill or one talent that our family can master.
Right.
That's when they talk about empires. Just start with the family. I know my family, my nuclear family's empire is real estate. I know that. I know my older sister, she trained her kids to be in Hollywood, so there's this entertainment on different levels. Think about, for your family, what is the legacy that you will pass on every generation so that they don't have to start from scratch? Because culturally, a lot of us think that my kids have to struggle like I did, they have to figure it out like I did. But that's not the right way. We should see our legacy as passing off a baton, making it easier for the next generation to move the way they want to move. For me, I know as I pass on the baton to my children, they're going to be able to choose what they love to do, not what they have to do. And they're going to know at the same time that they're making an important contribution to the world. So as we're thinking about the legacy we're passing on, and even start thinking about the legacy that we're passing on, because we're doing it right now. As we speak, we're passing on a legacy. Think about what that will look like. So when you do transition, what will your kids say about you? What will your grandkids say about you? What legacy did you leave? A lot of times it's values. And we can add to that and make it wealth building as well. We can make it building strong families. We can make it making sure our children, our grandchildren, their cousins, etc. are tightly knit so that anything we do together, we're doing it with a great force.
Absolutely, my sister. Appreciate the energy of that. That is powerful. And family, that's where it's at, family. We have to take our destiny into our own hands. And literally, we're both entrepreneurs. And I'm here to link you with the things that we've been doing. Bomani Technology, which we provide the highest level of technical operations, which we're going to be moving our operation there into Ghana. And Africa for the Africans Tours and Investment. So family, you can link with us on our annual Ghana May journey. And you can also link with us there in November for Ethiopia 2018 and Southern Africa November 2019. So all these wonderful information can be found on our website, africafortheafricans.org. And my sister, as we begin to continue talking about the discount education and us setting up our children and the future properly, would you like to share some contact details in case some of our wonderful brothers and sisters would like to reach out to you and connect with you, because it's all about networking.
So my name's Nannette Barry. I'm on Facebook, Barrie. You can always reach out to me there. That's the best way. And I'm a real estate agent and consultant. I'm a real estate investor as well. So anyone who needs advice on that or is looking for consultation, encouragement, I'm there as well.
Absolutely. And family, we always recommend that you support more and more black-owned business, and that's how we're going to grow and rise as a people. So we're encouraging more and more brothers and sisters to pick up entrepreneurship, even if you're on the plantation 9 to 5. Use it to build something on the weekend, because eventually if all of us have business enterprise, all we do is use each other's business and services, and we will cut out all of the middle people.
Yes, and Bomani, let me say something on that, because I noticed that we have this programming as a black people about the inferiority of black business, and we're always talking about what we can't do, how we don't trust each other, and all this stuff. Realize that's programming, and that's programming that is not in our favor. So I make sure I do not claim any of that. I remember, I apologize in advance, TD Jakes being on a program and talking about how African American businesses usually last for 3 years or less anyways. He made a comment to that effect. Wow. And so I immediately got on Facebook and I said, listen, I don't want my children watching you say that most African American businesses last 3 years or less. I want to make sure that we watch our language, because our children are watching. So when you're speaking about black business, when you're speaking about other black people, remember your children are listening. And this is part of the legacy we were talking about earlier. It's also in our language, our wording, how we talk about ourselves and how we talk about other black people as well.
That is excellent. And family, that is you just gave you said maybe, I don't know if I should say that we're lucky. We've been in business since 2006, family. 2005 with Bomani Technology. So you're looking at a lineage of 13 years with my technology business, and 11 plus years
congratulations
with Africa tour business. And it's one of the things where you have to think about staying in business
Yes.
because you begin to be a part of those statistics that throws our people off.
Yes.
I've heard similar numbers, worse than that, and and even when it comes to this business in general. And as you talk about at the beginning, business is that rough market, but we have to think about all of the people who control what they control around the world and dominate what they dominate and how they do it.
Yes.
And think about what we have to get into. If you were just working, we're in no mix to make any kind of changes or things
Yes.
like that. We have to get into the game. It's kind of like you being in the audience and they're playing a championship game and you just talking a bunch of stuff. But in order for you to make an effective change, you got to get in the game.
Right. You can't just be a spectator. You got to get in the game.
So family, we want you to join Black organizations, travel to Africa, invest with our own people, do business. And then for the Black people who own business, we want you to take that business to the highest level to
Yes.
where you're producing and providing the best customer service, technical support, and general respectable service, because you will be compared. And I was there on the plantation when the white devils and the black devils, they was talking bad about Black owned business, and I just felt terrible. I was like, when I get a chance to do business, I would never do some of those things. And we have kept our word. We do top-notch business. We do our best to communicate with you as right away as possible, especially if you're looking to travel with us to Africa and looking to do technology and business services. Some communication tends to be a little bit delayed because it's just unfortunate nonsense. But family, when you're reaching out to us, let's reach out to each other respectfully about business and get direct to the point so we can keep building.
Yes.
Right, my sister?
Yes.
In closing, you have any final words you want to share?
For me, it's just when we're leaving a legacy, let's just make sure that we're being a gift to the people around us, that we are empowering with our words, our thoughts, and our deeds, wherever we are and wherever we go.
Excellent, my sister. Well, appreciate the energy. And family, we're going to be linking back with you, and we're going to be continuing with some other episodes and link with you on some other conversations. But my sister, it's been good. All right.